The field hockey team continues their strong start.
And the football team looks to follow up last week's loss with a strong performance.
It's the season premiere of All Access, and it starts right now. Welcome to All Access, the show with endless offense, much like the Patriots against the Dolphins last week. I'm Derek Hill.
And I'm Rebecca Solsbeck. Unlike the Dolphins, our Rowan sports teams constantly have their heads in the game against their rivals. Let's start out the show with a look at the women's soccer team. Derek?
Thanks, Rebecca. On Thursday, the women's soccer team hosted Stockton University at home. The game was originally scheduled for Wednesday, but due to weather, got rescheduled. Despite the change in date, the Profs still pulled out with a win. In the first half, forward Daria Jones scored at 31 minutes and 37 seconds, and in the second half, forward Catherine McCary scored at 70 minutes and 45 seconds. The game ended in a 2-0 shutout. Following that game, the Profs got ready to travel to Keene University for their game on Saturday.
Coming off of a loss, the men's soccer team looked to turn things around as they hosted Keene University on Saturday. They wasted no time getting on the board as Aaron Robertson scored off of a throw during the 7th minute. The score would remain the same until the 63rd minute when Robertson would come away with an assist to Ryan Logar. A minute later, Shane Doherty would add to the scoring, followed by Colin Cardona in the 19th minute. The 4-0 Profs win helped the Profs to improve to a 6-3 record, breaking a 2-game losing streak. The team would go on to host Muhlenberg College on Wednesday.
The women's soccer team traveled to Keene University on Saturday morning. Although the Profs had 20 shots on goal and Keene only had 8 shots, none of these resulted in goals. Both teams battled it out, leading them into 2 overtimes. It was a close game with a final score of 0-0. This tie ended the Profs' 7-game winning streak and their first tie of the season.
The men's soccer team hosted Muhlenberg College on Wednesday. The contest ended up being a nail-biter. Ryan Campbell put the team up 1-0 in the 14th minute. In the 47th minute, Kevin Hagen scored from Muhlenberg University to tie the game. In overtime, Wilda Stard scored the game-winning goal for the Profs. The 2-1 win helped the team improve to 8-4 on the season. They will take on New Jersey City University in their next matchup.
The women's soccer team traveled to Eastern University on Wednesday. They came away victorious with a huge 6-0 win. Sarah Rosenberg, Dara Wagner, and Megan McKinley contributed to the scoring in the first half. In the second half, they would extend their 4-0 lead with 2 more goals. The win is their 8th on the season and improves their record to 8-1-1.
Now for more on the current NFL season and a look at some exciting baseball and hockey stories, here's Kayla Santiago with this week's Pro Talk.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the season opener of Pro Talk. I am your host, Kayla Santiago, keeping you up to date with all the news happening in pro sports. After a long 6-month break from football, the 2019 season is underway. After the underdog, Philadelphia Eagles just won Super Bowl 52, beating the New England Patriots 41-33. Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles has to take a seat Week 3 to make way for Carson Wentz, coming back after an ACL injury. In Week 3, Carson threw for 255 yards and threw 1 touchdown pass to the second-round pick from South Dakota State, Dallas Goedert. In Week 4, Carson threw for 348 yards and threw for 2 touchdowns received from Jordan Matthews and Alshon Jeffrey. It looks like the Wentz and Matthews duo is back. Speaking about the other quarterbacks in the NFL, Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick was out there breaking records, throwing over 400 yards through the first 3 games of the season. But the Fitzmagic died out in Week 4 when he only managed to throw 126 yards and then was benched in the 3rd quarter, bringing on Jameis Winston for the remainder of the game. Moving on to baseball. In the beginning of August, the Philadelphia Phillies were in the top running for the spot in the National League East. The Phillies played the Marlins August 2nd through 5th, sweeping them 4-0 to go 15 games over 500. But with the Phillies' constant struggles, they have only gone 11-20 since then, and since August 18th, they have the National League's worst record at 6 wins and 14 losses. On a positive note, the Philadelphia Phillies' own starting pitcher, Aaron Nola, is third on the Cy Young Award poll watch for the National League. Aaron Nola had a 2.37 ERA for the 2018 season and had a record of 17 wins and 6 losses. As the MLB playoffs are approaching, the Boston Red Sox have the best record for the regular season, overall leading with 108 wins. But we all know once the postseason starts that anything can happen. Hockey is back as the Flyers take the ice tonight against the Golden Knights. Maybe since the Flyers got a new mascot, they'll be a new team this season. Last season, the Flyers had 42 wins and finished third in the Metropolitan Division. The Flyers fell short in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals, losing to the Pittsburgh Penguins. It looks like the Flyers will be taking the Raise the Bar motto as they return from what was a disappointing ending to their playoff run last year. The NBA preseason has started, and for the Philadelphia Sixers, everybody's interest is to see the improvement in Markelle Fultz. The Philadelphia Sixers played the Orlando Magic in the second preseason game. Markelle Fultz sure did prove himself by providing 12 points. Fultz showed his shooting improvement and the crowd went crazy when he made a corner three. Joel, The Process, and Embiid led the scoring with 21 points, and Ben Simmons led the team in assists with 7. If Fultz keeps improving, he could be the Sixers' missing piece that they needed. It's going to be a good season for basketball, and we'll just have to trust the process. That's all I have for you this week on Pro Talk. Stay tuned after the break for this week's Rowan Roundtable.
Welcome back to All Access. It's time for our Rowan Roundtable. Joining me today are Kayla Santiago, Rebecca Solzbeck, and Derek Hill. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, since we're all part of the show. It's glad we could stop by.
So my first question is, this year it's been 2 dominant teams in the NFL. You know, you have the undefeated Rams and the high-scoring Chiefs. So my question is, who's the team to beat this year? The Rams or the Chiefs?
All right, I'll start. It's definitely the Rams. They have 3. I'll say they have probably the best receiving core in the league, followed up by the best running back in the league, and followed up by Jared Goff, who's probably the most underrated quarterback in the league also. So that offense is high-powered. They improved the defense over the offseason, and they're undefeated so far.
Best receiving core, huh?
Yes. Cooper Kupp is the man.
Yeah. I mean, I'll second that. Cooper Kupp is the man. I think the Chiefs will choke, as they usually do. I don't think they will do as great as they are projected. I think they'll make it to playoffs. I think they'll ruin it in the playoffs. I don't think they'll make the Super Bowl, but I think the Rams are definitely the team to beat right now.
I agree with all of them. Jared Goff has great weapons in the offense, and the Chiefs last year they choked. I believe they started 4-0, and then they 5-0 maybe, around there. But
they only had 4 losses last year, the Chiefs.
I mean,
So
but they also had a different quarterback. So
that is true.
this is a different Chiefs team we're seeing.
it's the same team. It's still Andy Reid and his I'm going to lose in the first round,
mean,
even when
but-
I'm the 1 seed team.
But with the refs and the new calls now, you know, the NFL game is meant for high scoring. So if you can't stop the Chiefs,
I'll tell you what, the refs are helping the Chiefs. Because the other day during the Broncos game, he passed the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball.
It's tough when you're a Broncos fan.
But
so
yeah,
You're in
it
that
is tough
discussion.
sometimes. We should have won that game, but that's okay.
I agree with that.
well, you talking about the left-handed pass?
No, not that one.
Oh,
There
that
was
was a
one
good
where
pass.
he did pass the line of scrimmage.
Gotcha.
It was a bullet, but he was a full step over, and they didn't throw the flag.
I got you. So my next question. Super Bowl champs, you know, won their first Super Bowl last year. Eagles come back this year. No Carson Wentz, you know. Started off slow with Nick Foles. Now Carson's back. And still not the dominant team we saw last year. What's the problem?
I'll go. So the offensive line is a problem. You see, last week they have Carson back, and Carson's coming back from a huge injury, and you can't even protect your quarterback. The secondary is not that good. The backs are not stopping any plays. The defensive line is still pretty good, but they have a lot of missing pieces. Darren Sproles is not playing. Jay Ajayi is in and out. Corey Clement is hurt. Mike Wallace just got hurt, so I'm not blaming it on the injuries because that happens, but they just have to get it together, and it's a new team, and they got new people, so I believe this week they learned from last week, and they're going to come out on top.
I'll go second. you don't want my opinion. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. I think the Eagles got so excited last year. They got lucky. They played the teams when the right players were out. They overall got lucky. They came into this year thinking, oh my gosh, we're Philly. We're the city of the country, which is obviously a joke. I don't know why they would ever think that they matter that much.
I think it's brotherly love, not the country.
But they think that they're like the city of the entire, like they think that they matter the most. They think that they are the city to be at. They think that they are all the teams to be at. They finally got good after how many years? They finally won a Super Bowl after how many years? They think they contend with these teams that have 5 Super Bowl wins, 4 Super Bowl wins. You're not that good. You're not going to win this year. You're too excited. They're going off last year's energy, and they just came in and they said, oh, we lost a couple games. Like, they better get their stuff together because they're not going to be as good.
Wow. That was a very
Sorry.
harsh version of what I was going to say. It's very similar, though.
I mean, coming from a Cowboys fan, it couldn't have not been harsh.
Yeah. But personally, I think that the Eagles are realizing they're not the Patriots. The Patriots are used to winning and then still putting in the work and coming back the next year. Now that the Eagles won their first Super Bowl, they were coming off that high of we're the best team in the league. Because I honestly think they were last year and they deserved to win that Super Bowl. But now, coming into this year, they think they're still the best. Maybe they didn't put in as much work as they did last year where they did win the Super Bowl. And maybe that'll start clicking for them soon and they can start winning some games more consistently.
Yeah.
I mean, they keep playing how they play in Week 5. They gonna lose to the Giants.
No, not that.
I'm not an Eagles fan, but I think they have the Giants.
You think they have the Giants? What makes you
The
think
Giants' defense is pretty good.
Exactly.
I
So what makes you think they got the Giants?
I honestly hate to even say anything good about the Eagles, but it's more just bad about the Giants. I like the Giants. I don't have a problem with the Giants. I think Eli Manning's a great guy. I think the Giants are a good team. I don't despise them. I despise the Eagles, but they just don't look that great. Overall, they just don't. It's just out of honesty. They just don't look that great.
Like the Eagles, the Giants are miss Olivier Vernon. Eli Apple. It's some big pieces missing. When it all come together, it's gonna come together.
I do think they will win one of the games versus the Eagles, and I think that they have a chance of winning the Cowboys game against them because it's very hard to win 2 games against the same team.
Yep. They're gonna sweep the Eagles and they're gonna beat the Dallas Cowboys the last.
That's probably what they said in the first game when they played the Cowboys, right?
No, definitely didn't say that. I knew we were gonna lose. Well, they were going to lose.
All Giants fans that I knew texted me and said, "You ready for this game tonight? Are you excited?" And I texted them and I said,
I was fully prepared to lose. I really was. We always lose the first one. Moving forward, though.
Nice transition.
On to baseball. World Series coming up. Who wins the World Series? Fellow Yankees fan?
I would love to say the Yankees.
Yeah. It was
The National League, I think, is way too even kilter and not as powerful as the American League to really compete with them when it gets to that point. I couldn't even tell you who's going to become victorious in the National League. I do think that with the Red Sox falling off in the American League, the Yankees do have the best chance possible right now to move on to the ALCS. And even though I'm a Yankees fan, I honestly believe that as a baseball fan too.
Okay.
Especially with the way they played against Boston the last 3 games of the season. I honestly gotta go with the Astros. They did it last year. They have an insane offense, and the pitching staff is awesome. They 4 of their 5 starters are probably aces, honestly. So I think the Astros might be the safe bet. But as a Yankees fan, the Yankees will win.
Of course, die hard.
mean,
I'm with you.
You got Boston Red Sox at 108 wins. It is the regular season, though, so it's not saying that in the playoffs, in the World Series, anything can happen. You see teams that win all these games during the regular season and choke in the playoffs. It happens. I agree. The Astros do look good. They came out and won it last year, so what's stopping them from winning it this year?
I'm just going to go with the Astros as well. I mean, according to everything, they just look the best out of anyone right now. I would like to see the Yankees as well, but,
I feel like home runs are going to carry us.
Possibly, if they do hit the home runs, because when they don't, that's when they're in trouble.
I think they will. It's too many hitters. So, next sport, basketball. Preseason has started. Which team looks the most impressive?
Sixers. All right, I'm a diehard Philadelphia fan all around, but you have Joel Embiid, who at some time in his career is going to be MVP. He's already on that scale. Ben Simmons is probably one of the best point guards in the league. And Markelle Fultz had no confidence last season in his shooting. And this season he came out game 2 of the preseason shooting threes, shooting jumpers. So I think he's really going to bring up the scale and the confidence in the team.
And just one last thing about the preseason. I'll tell you what, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't even reflect, honestly, the actual regular season. So the Warriors are still the best team in the league based off of that roster. It's ridiculous.
Wow, lucky we out of time. Lucky we out of time. But that is all the time we have for this Rowan Roundtable. I would like to thank Kayla, Rebecca, and Derek for joining me. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to All Access. It's time to get down and dirty with some updates from the field hockey team. Rebecca?
On Saturday, the Rowan field hockey team played William Patterson University at home. It happened to be the first conference game for both teams. Forward Rachel Galante led the Profs with 2 goals and 1 assist, with forward Bridget Gunian and midfielder Bridget Boyle right behind her with 2 goals each. Midfielder Christina Castagnola also contributed with 1 goal and 1 assist, and forward Christina Havel scored a goal for the Profs as well. Rowan was ahead 5-0 after the first half and ended the game 8-1, scoring 3 goals in the second half. Following this game, the Profs were here to take on Stockton University on Wednesday.
The red-hot field hockey team continued their torrid pace when they traveled to Stockton University. The 7th-ranked Profs came away with the 6-0 victory. Christina Castagnola led the team with 2 goals during the contest. Rachel Gallant and Molly Gorchitska both had a goal and assist each. The win marked Michelle Andre's 50th career win as a head coach. The team improves to 11-0 on the season.
The men's cross-country team competed at the Mike Woods Invitational on Saturday. The 8K course was conquered by Daniel Fitch-Henry, who earned 3rd place with a time of 25 minutes, 28.9 seconds. He was a top finisher for the Profs, with Jake Crisuro finishing behind him in 12th place. Caruso would post a time just over 26 minutes. They were the only 2 Profs runners to place in the top 20 for the competition.
The women's cross-country team competed in the Brown race at Paul Short Run on Saturday. The team finished 39th in team scoring. Madison Edwards finished with a team best time of 23 minutes and 38 seconds on the 6K course. Alyssa Sanders followed behind her with a time of 24 minutes and 2 seconds.
After the break, Derek sits down with the members of the field hockey team in this week's Prof Spotlight, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to All Access. Time for this week's Prof Spotlight. Joining me are Skylar Pino and Christina Hovell of the field hockey team. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
You guys are off to a big start. I believe I read 11-0 online. What has been the key to that? Could you guys talk about that?
I think we're just like really strong as a unit, and our positivity really brings us together, and we're not too cocky about it. Like, we come out with confidence every game and just stay positive and have each other's back, and I think that's really what brings us through as a team, and we come out with a win.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Would you guys say that teamwork is a bigger part in field hockey than it is in, say, other sports? Like, I guess baseball would be an example, where hockey seems a little more important.
No, definitely. Because you can't do anything by yourself on the field. You're going against 11 other people, so you definitely have to learn how to work together and have that groove as a team to succeed. Like
you also have to like set up your teammates for like a good pass or like a good shot, whereas in like baseball it's more individual kind of. But
yeah, would you guys argue that field hockey might be one of the higher echelon of sports then, or would you?
Probably get us in trouble. I think field hockey's a little bit harder.
It's personal opinion, I mean.
Field hockey, it's just, but to begin with, it's a hard sport to learn. We know people come and watch it and they have no idea what's going on.
There's a whistle blowing every 10 seconds, but.
I announced a couple field hockey games back in high school, and it was really hard to announce because of the whistle every 10 seconds, and the ball's so small on the grass too, so you're like, what's going on?
It's hard to watch. And then especially like how much we're doing, especially at a collegiate level, it's a very like excruciating sport. So you're constantly running, we're constantly working out for it. So I think it's a little bit harder than most sports.
Yeah, you don't get a break.
And speaking of how hard you guys work, you obviously, and along with the teamwork, is there anything you guys do off the field as a team? Maybe if is it often you guys go out and maybe do stuff together, or are there little
We
maybe
went
tight
bowling one
niches?
time,
Yeah.
which
That's
was
awesome.
fun, yeah, as a team.
Yeah, we're a really close team. So even if it's like one night, some people are going to someone's house, or if we have like our packet where we have to work out together, we're all going out and doing that together. So no, we're a really
Yeah,
close team.
we try to like go out to dinner a few times, like people who can. Some people have classes, so they can't make it, but we try to do as much as we can off
Yeah,
the field.
that's great. Do you guys plan that out like clubs do, where it's like, all right, on next Friday we're gonna go to dinner?
I think it's more of a last minute thing. Like
Yeah.
after practice, we'll be like, all right, I'm going to get wings. Who wants to come? And 10 other people will come.
Yeah, our group
Yeah.
chat is constantly going back and forth.
The last minute plans are always the best. And
Yeah.
You mentioned wings. Is there a specific spot that maybe you recommend
You're
other
the
people
wing
to go
person, I
to? Or?
Anywhere there's wings, just
yeah.
we'll be there.
We got
I
any
agree with
Tuesday
you.
or Wednesday.
As long as there was wings, it's
Yeah.
probably a good
Yeah.
place to eat.
Yeah.
I guess on a more personal level now, when did you guys start playing field hockey? And maybe when did you maybe realize that you could go out and do that?
For me, I started playing in 5th grade for the middle school, and then once I got to high school, I realized I played 3 sports, but I realized like 9th and 10th grade I was probably better in field hockey than any other sport. So once I decided in like sophomore year that I was gonna come and play field hockey in college, I just didn't know where.
Yeah, I started field hockey when I was in 4th grade, and joining like the middle school team, I was just so fast. Like the coach was like, you could literally play 11 spots at one time because I would just run. But I also come from a really good high school team, Eastern. They're like really good, and I just knew I wanted to go somewhere and just continue playing, and Rowan offered that, so.
Yeah, that's great. Rowan seems to be the best spot in South Jersey when it comes to people wanting to be close to home. Because
Yeah.
you mentioned Eastern. I went to Lenape myself, so it's that 30-minute away
Yeah.
distance that it really works out when you come to this school. Are you guys upperclassmen or?
I'm a freshman.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
a senior. Yeah.
Well, there's that nice split
I'm
here,
an
so
upperclassman.
I can get two sides of the coin. How is an upperclassman? How is it as a leader, I guess you could say?
It's kind of surreal at this point. I mean, I've been a captain for 2 years now, but like last year you don't think about, I'm like, all right, next year we got this. Next year we're doing this, and now it is next year, so I just
Like,
sit there.
this is our year.
Yeah, and like we've been saying that, like especially me and the 6 other seniors, we've been doing this for 4 years now, and we've always come so close. So like from what you said earlier, like how do we get prepared for each game? Like we keep having this saying that like only one option. So every day we have up on the board like who we're playing, and that's the only thing we're focusing on. So like even though we know we have big games coming up, we're only worried about the next day, because I think that's what we like struggled with in the past. And now that I'm a senior, I'm like, all right, we have to get this done today. Like it's been 4 years coming, so
Yeah.
it's just surreal at this point though that it's senior year.
That's a really good mentality to follow. And has that mentality rubbed off on you as a freshman? And have the
Yeah.
seniors and upperclassmen kind of helped you?
Yeah, at first, like, I start as a freshman, I was, like, really nervous, like, my first couple of games, but then just bonding with the team and playing with them, like, game after game, I became more confident and just, like, knew that my team had my back no matter what. But I have the same mentality, like, only one option, like, we go game by game, we don't look ahead and just focus on, like, what we can focus on, don't, like control the controllables. Everyone always says that, and I think that's a really good mentality to have.
All right, and this is a question probably could have more naturally fit in earlier, but why did you guys choose Rowan as your college?
We were just talking about that before you came in here.
Yeah.
I played field hockey forever, and I was constantly on club teams and going like traveling, so I had a lot of options of where I wanted to go. And there was just one day I got like 4 emails like, you need to make a decision now, and I'm like sitting there with my parents. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. Like, do I want to stay? My parents are very into coming to see me play, and I live so close to school too, so I figured come here so they can see me play as often as they can, and they don't have to travel too much. So it was basically came down to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I also commute, so it's like Rowan was close, one of the closest options, and also the education. I came here for radio, television, and film, and
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, they have a really good program here, so came for that, and they had field hockey, which was great.
Yeah, you must be comfortable in here then, or at least
Yeah.
this is how you start to get comfortable, because you'll be starting to do this stuff later on. one last question for you guys. What are you looking forward to the rest of the season with the great start? What are you guys looking forward to?
Our NJAC. Yeah, we're looking for that conference title. And then because of how well we're doing now and how well we click together, we kind of have our mindset that there is no other option than to win an NJAC. So once we accomplish that, we're excited for the NCAAs. We haven't done that. And so especially me being a senior, I haven't made it that far yet. So NJAC first, because only one option. But definitely looking forward to the rest of the season because we have a long season coming.
Yeah, that's great.
I agree.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
You guys were really good interviews, so I appreciate it. That is all the time we have. I would like to thank Skylar and Christina for coming. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back to All Access. Let's check in with the football team. Derek?
Thanks, Rebecca. After a loss at Frostburg State University, the Rowan football team took on Christopher Newport University at home on Saturday. Rowan had the first points on the board, starting the game off 6-0 after wide receiver Elijah Rem's 66-yard punt return to the end zone. This touchdown would be Rowan's only points on the board for the rest of the game after Christopher Newport took the lead early in the second quarter and kept it for the rest of the game. With a final score of 39-6, this puts the Profs on a losing streak with a 3-2 record. Although Rowan has suffered 2 losses in a row, they have the week off to prepare to travel to the College of New Jersey on October 13th.
The Rowan University volleyball team won their first match 3-0 over the University of Valley Forge during a tri-match at Arcadia University on Saturday. In the first set, the Profs took a 6-1 advantage and later doubled that lead to 18-9. The first set ended 25-10, and as outsider hitter Alexa Gasser scored a kill, and opposite hitter Mara Francis served an ace. The second set ended 25-5, also won by Rowan. Although Valley Forge scored the first point, the Profs quickly responded and dominated the game. In the final set, Rowan took an 8-0 lead, and Valley Forge attempted to come back, trailing 16-10. The Profs ended the final set 25-11, winning all sets against Valley Forge.
Moving on to match 2 on Saturday against Arcadia University, the Profs lost the first set 25-21, but buckled down and claimed the second set. Rowan maintained the lead in second and ended the set 25-20. Early on in the third set, the score was tied at 8-8, but Rowan quickly took an 11-8 lead and kept their lead, closing out the set 25-19. Moving on to set 4, the Profs lost 25-17, forcing a fifth set for the two teams. Both teams fought as the leader of the game went back and forth, but Arcadia ended up with the final kill, taking the 15-13 win. The Profs split the tri-match and were left with an overall 12-7 record. Rowan traveled back home to prepare to take on Keene University on Tuesday.
Rowan swept Keene clean on Tuesday. The Profs started off in the opening set with a pair of 4-point runs and took an 8-2 advantage. By the end of the first stanza, the Profs held onto their advantage, winning by scoring 25-21. In the second, the Profs trailed Keene 7-5, but came back and claimed an 11-10 lead on a 4-point rally. The set remained close until the Profs grabbed onto the 25-18 win. The score for the final set started off close until the Profs took a 12-8 lead after 3 straight errors by Keene. The match ended on a kill from Rowan's Kaylee Gallagher to win 25-21. This game left the Profs with a 13-8 record. The team will stay home at Rowan for a quad match on Friday and Saturday.
That's all we have for this episode of All Access. For Mo Ware, Kayla Santiago, and Rebecca Sulzbach, I'm Derek Hill. We'll see you next time on All Access.